Hello guys, and good morning to you. It might not be morning for you, but it definitely is for me. It's actually way earlier than I'm usually up and about for sure. It's I don't even know what time it is at this point. I would probably be awake right now, but I would not be like doing this. So first of all, if you hear anything in the background, all of the boys are here and all of them are awake and all of them are playing, so if you hear them, that is why. But I wanted to go ahead and get this done. I want to get some videos filmed today, and I have some things to do today, so I want to go ahead and get started with as much as I can. Today is my dad's 50th birthday, and it occurred to me that last week when I was planning for this week, I totally didn't do a birthday spread for him, and that is horrible and unfortunate, and so I'm definitely going to do that. I think it's because I plan ahead, and so I don't think about it until it happens and it's on my mind, and then I'm like, oh wow, you know, it's totally his birthday, but I don't even understand why I didn't plan for it, but I definitely want to acknowledge his birthday, and it's his 50th birthday at that. So yes, my dad is super young, especially to have a 30-year-old. He was 19 when my mom had me, and almost 20, and so my birthday is in November, and his birthday is in February, so he was almost 20, but not quite, when she got pregnant, and then when she had me. And so, you can probably hear Gillian, like, yelling, and they're playing Beyblade or Pokemon or some weird thing. I don't know. Jaren's into all of that stuff, and Tristan wasn't until Jaren was. And so when he comes over, that's all he wants to do, because that's what he watches when he's at his mom's. And honestly, we really try not to let him watch all of that a lot. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but just to get so caught up in things like that, we try to let him, to make him space out what you know what I mean? I feel like when you get so obsessed with something like that, that it's a little bit cray-cray, so we try not to let him watch stuff like that all the time. You know, just kind of space out what you like. Let's not get consumed with it, but Jaren is like obsessed, so when he comes over here, that's all they want to do. And this is very hard to see where these lines are on this paper, but I'm sure I can manage. So, anyways, my dad is, I think every little girl's dad is their first hero. I mean, you know, and when I was young, me and my dad really weren't close at all. My dad is not the most emotional person. He's not the most affectionate person at all. He's very keep to himself, kind of like an introvert, which is hilarious because he's a pastor, but he really is. And we have the same personality, so if you don't know what this is, it is a real thing, I totally promise. But it's called an extroverted introvert, and it's where if you meet the person outside, you know, and like with everybody else, like out in society or whatever, they totally appear to be an extrovert. They talk, they're loud, they talk to everybody, they're bubbly. Sometimes these are even the people who are like the life of the party, but they really are not that way. If you leave them to themselves, they're super introverted and quiet. They don't express their feelings very well. They don't really express their feelings at all. You have to kind of pull it out of them, and they are not the most affectionate people in the world. Look it up. It's like a real deal, and that's totally what I am. So if you leave me by myself, I will never go into social situations by choice. My husband is, he's a little bit like that, but he's a lot more social than I am, and I'm just not I don't really love social situations, but you see me on here and I'm totally talking, and I'll talk your ear off if I see you out, but that's really just not what I prefer. I would really prefer to just be closed off and by myself, a loner, you know. I mean, that's what I would prefer. So anyways, that's how my dad is, and he is not the best at expressing feelings. He's the guy where when you hug him, he gets stiff and it's all awkward, and he's like, he doesn't really know how to accept things. It's awkward for him, and you can tell it. You can tell that he's uncomfortable. It's kind of hilarious now that I'm older, but when I was younger, I was really frustrated by this because I was just, you know, I was just a little girl, and I needed that from my dad, and that's not his way. He's not very affectionate. Now with my boys, holy cow, he is such a different person with my boys. He's so different. And I'm like, where was this guy when I was little? Like, really? This is what I wanted you to do for me. And I tease him about it all the time, and he just rolls his eyes at me, but he's totally affectionate with my boys, wanting hugs and loving and kisses and everything else, and he's just not a very affectionate person. And so anyways, that's my dad, and he's awkward when it comes to stuff like that. He's just not that great at it. He doesn't love to be affectionate, and you know, that's just not who he is. And so I think it's funny that he's so different with my boys, because he's just changed completely. They change him, and I hear that grandkids do that to you, but it's just a lot different. He's changed a lot since then, of course, because he was so young when I was born. I think that had a lot to do with it as well. He was just learning how to be himself, you know. He didn't even know who he was really at that time. You think about how you are at 19. You don't even really know who you are. And so that's kind of how it was, I'm sure. And then you throw a kid into the mix, and it's like, holy cow, what is this? But my dad, the older I get, the closer we are. And the more I realize I'm like him, and all of the things that I didn't like about him growing up, I'm just the same way. I am super, super affectionate with my kids, but I'm not that affectionate when it comes to like Joshua. It's not that I don't want to be, I just don't notice about it, and he has to remind me, like, hey, because his love language is very physical. It's physical touch. He wants to hold hands, and he wants to kiss, and he wants to, you know, show me affection, and I like it, but I'm just not, I don't do it, you know, on my own. Like, I don't think of it. He has to say, hey, why don't you come sit over here? And I'm like, oh, okay. I just don't, it's not something that I think of. And why did I do that? This is not what was supposed to go here at all. I was totally supposed to move this over here, and now I've kind of messed it up. So I think I'm just going to, oh no, it was like this. Okay. I wanted to cover up those holes, but that's fine. I can put a box there. Anyway, so it's just a little bit different. I think that with my kids, it's just like a maternal thing. So I'm different with my kids, whereas he wasn't very affectionate with us. So I think that's just female versus male. But I am a lot like him. So it's funny because all the things that used to drive me bonkers when I was younger, and they're fighting in there. They're fighting because Tristan doesn't want him to play with his toy, and he's trying to grab it. And it's just the story of my life. But anyways, all the things that used to get on my nerves so bad, I find myself doing more and more of those things. Isn't that how it works, though? With your parents, you become your parent. Oh, let me go break up the fight. Okay. I think I've taken care of it temporarily. It will probably happen again. But I have learned so much from my dad. He is, to me, the most amazing man that's ever walked the earth besides my husband. And that's the way I feel that it should be. He is just amazing. you can ask anybody that has ever met him out in the community or anywhere else, and they will all tell you the same thing. He's a great guy. He really is. He is caring and generous and kind, and he is wonderful, and I love my daddy. He is a true godly man, which I think is just so rare, and he wants to please Christ in his life. He doesn't just preach it, he lives it. And again, that is a rarity, and I love it. And that is why we still go to his church, even though it is over an hour away for us to drive, because he's just great. He practices what he preaches, but he also preaches really well. So it would be hard for us to go somewhere else because of that. But it is a long drive, you guys. It really kind of sucks, actually. Driving it every Sunday morning really kind of sucks. Okay. And Wednesday. Sundays and Wednesdays. Alright, I think I want to do this wood grain for my sidebar as well, I think. So I think I'm going to do that. And then after that, I can start laying down some other stuff too. I chose this paper because my dad likes to work on things. That's his hobby. It's his favorite thing to do. And he, I think it was like 2 years ago, discovered that he loves woodworking and he's really good at it. So he makes things out of different parts and puts them together, like old sewing tables, and he makes desks out of things and just Frankensteins it and makes beautiful things out of it and refinishes furniture, and that's what he does as his hobby, and he's really good at it. He's actually making he's making my niece, my sister is pregnant with a little girl, and I'm really jealous actually, and he's making her a crib for Reese. Her name's gonna be Reese, and he's making a crib for Reese, so that's super cute. And not jealous of the crib, I meant I was jealous of the girl, because I have crazy boys who are in there yelling about Beyblades and weirdness and whatever else they're playing, and I have no tea parties or Disney princesses to be found, so I guess I'll just have to spoil her instead, which is okay. I can do that. Anyways, he's just really good at that kind of thing, and he just discovered it one day. He had an idea of something he wanted to do, and he did it, and ever since he's been making stuff ever since, so that's pretty cool. He loves to work on things, and he will run out and do it any chance he gets. So okay, I'm going to put some quotes because they remind me of my dad, and I know this has pink in it, which is kind of annoying, but it's okay because these are just some things that I know that he has told me, and so I want to use these stickers. Anyways, that is why I chose this paper. It's totally crooked, because it reminds me of my dad, because he wants to go work, and he is so busy, y'all. So he works at the church 5 days a week, and he also drives a school bus, and he drives a school bus to save the church money on insurance, because churches usually always pay for their pastor's insurance, and the school has really great insurance options, and so he did that to save the church money. I mean, that's just how he is, y'all. And also he did it to supplement their income. So He's just that kind of a guy. He's always working and always taught me that hard work is very important. And I want to teach the same things to my kids because that is so important. You can't go wrong with hard work, and I think it's very rare. This day and age, it's very rare. And yeah, so these are things that remind me of my dad. And so that's why I'm using all of these quotes, because it just reminds me of him. Okay, I want to use, where did I put that? Oh, here they are. But he is something else, for sure. It says the harder you work, the luckier you get. I don't really know about that, but life goes by so very fast. And my dad is super young, but it's still like super fast. So like it's so important to cherish the time that you have with your family and your friends, because it goes by so very quickly. Okay, I want to use a few birthday stickers too. Tristan made him he made him a card for his birthday, and it is so cute. He made my mom holding a birthday cake, and him with a party hat, and my dad with a party hat. Oh man, it's not gonna come up. I wanted it to. I'm gonna put this somewhere. Maybe I'll put it at the bottom. And it's really cute. So let's see. I think it's funny because I know that even though we're having this party for him, like he's super uncomfortable about things like that. He just doesn't really like to be the center of attention. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how he is, because he doesn't like it. Which is so funny, y'all, because he's a pastor. So it's like, what? Does that even go together? No, it really doesn't. But that's my dad. He is... I mean, I'm the same way, so seriously, it is like that. He's just something else. Something else. Okay, I want to use some washi, and I'm trying to decide what I want to use. I think I'll use this on the bottom here, and I think I'm going to use some wood grain at the top. Where is my doggone washi cutter? Oh, I can't keep up with washi cutters. I lose them every time. Here it is. It just gets lost in all this stuff. And I didn't put this doggone sticker on here. My dad taught me always be the hardest worker. You can never go wrong with being the hardest worker. And never sit while somebody else is working. Get up and work. Never be afraid of work. Never be lazy. Taught me never to depend on any man. You learn how to do it, you figure it out yourself. And if you find a man that takes care of you, then great. But if you don't need one. And that is what he taught me. Which my man does take care of me, but I can do it myself if I had to. Okay, I'm gonna grab some wood grain really quickly. Yeah, so he taught me many great things. I think they're very important things for a little girl to know. They have got me out of a lot of different problems in my life and got me through a lot of different struggles. And if you guys don't know, if you didn't already know this about me, I was married before and then divorced. I was married for almost exactly 2 years, and then he chose another woman over me, and so I got divorced, and it pretty much tore me apart. I was in really bad shape over it because I had lived my whole life for my marriage, you know. I was a virgin until I got married. I just thought that marriage was the most important thing. I mean, that's what my parents had shown me my whole life, right? I mean, my mom was 16 when they got married. My dad was 19. They just taught me how important marriage was, and I took that to heart and took it seriously, and then he didn't, and there was nothing I could do to control it. And I'm such a control freak that really did a number on me, that I could do all of these things in my life and work towards something, and then it gets here and somebody else's decisions is what, you know, that's what caused my life to be different. Like, their decisions affected me in that way and made every decision I had ever made about that just completely null and void. And it really broke me a lot. And if it weren't for my dad, I mean both of my parents, of course, but when you're a girl and you have something like that happen, your dad really does make a difference, because he's the man, right? He's the constant. He's the man who's always been there in your life, and his opinion and what he says about it is everything. Especially because, you know, being a Christian, divorce is not exactly the most celebrated thing. And so I was so worried about disappointing him, and I am a parent pleaser, let's just be honest, and I was so concerned with disappointing them and hurting him because of what happened and everything else, that I was devastated. And he was just wonderful about it and took care of me, and he was the one who was pushing for me to get out of that situation. It was a really bad situation for a long time, and so he was just wonderful about it. And I don't know what I would have done without him helping me pick up the pieces. That's when I really started to get closer to my dad, and understand him for who he is. You know, sometimes I feel like, especially with parents, like, you don't understand how good you have it until it's gone. And I think that is a shame, or at least, if you're lucky, until you grow up and grow into an adult and have your own kids, you start to understand your parents' perspective on things and how great they really are. And so that was definitely the case for me. I didn't really understand my dad until I got older, and I could really look at things in a different way. So I like that washi so much that I think I'm going to use it down here. And then if I do have anything that I need to put in the notes section, I can just add like a little label or something. But I really like this wood washi. It's so pretty. I like how pale it is. It's just a really light wood grain, and I like it a lot. So I think I'm going to use it down here too. But anyway, what, baby? I don't care. That child will eat me out of house and home, you guys. That is the stage he is in. And he will definitely try to do it for sure. But I don't mind. Especially yogurt. At least he could be eating so many worse things. So, have at it, bud. Have at it. Sounds good to me. Alright. So there's that. I think I like that. And then I want to do some kind of boxes. I'm not really sure what. Trying to decide. I have a few different options of things that I could do here. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I think I want to do something like this, and then list some things out and just decorate it like that. I'm thinking anyways, I hope that you guys don't mind me going on and on about my dad, but I just am thinking about him today because it's his birthday, and we called him today and told him, yes, baby, you surely can. We called him and told him happy birthday, and Tristan told him he made him a card and he's so excited about it. And so I'm just thinking about him today since we did that. I know that this is not the right side, but I'm going to stick this here because this, the holes being here drives me absolutely nuts. And if I don't cover them up, it's going to bother me. So I'm going to cover that up. And I could totally do boxes, but I don't know. I'm just going to use these instead. I think that's cute. But anyways, Tristan was all excited about his card making skills. He did such a good job. I showed you guys in another plan with me. But it is so cute. He did a really good job. And I helped him punch out some balloons with a little balloon punch that I have. And we did that. And he's really excited about his papa's birthday. I just can't believe my dad is a pawpaw to my own kids. I don't feel 30, you guys, with bunches of kids. Like, sometimes I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Does that ever happen to you where you're just like, wow, this is nuts. This is my life. This is me. I don't even realize it. That is me. I don't even feel like that. I just remember being just a little girl and trying to get on his lap, and which that was never really our relationship for real. Like, he was, I mean, I could totally go up to my dad, but he just was not the most affectionate fellow. Okay, so Wednesday, this is the 28th. So let's see, I think I'm going to use these little dates because they're not obnoxious and I like them. And they actually look a lot like the regular ones that are on there normally. And I can still see the days in the dates, but I want to make the dates a little bit darker. So I'm going to put these right where they go and go from there. So anyways, if you do have your dad in your life, definitely treasure him. Treasure your parents for sure. And if you don't, then treasure the memories that you have of them, because life is fleeting and it's very important to take advantage of all the time you have with any member of your family, whether it's your kids or because what you're doing now is what your kids will treasure of you. And that's what I try to constantly remember, because no man is guaranteed tomorrow. I'm not guaranteed to live tomorrow. So I try to live every single day with my kids and my family like it is the last day I have. And that way I won't have any regrets, and they'll have good memories of me, and they will be able to pass those on to their children. Because that's what it's all about, is leaving a legacy for your babies, and so they can be, if you don't have babies, for other people in your life, so that they can have the knowledge of what it is like to be good men and women of this world and bring positivity and good things into the world. Okay, so I do have to pay bills this week. Blah! Nobody likes to do that. I need to remember that Joshua is perhaps not going to get paid on this day. I'm hoping that he gets paid Thursday or Friday. At his new job, it's super strange. Tell me if this is weird to you. It's really weird to me. It's hard to get used to, but he's not guaranteed to get paid on the 1st. Usually he totally is, but he's not now. So I have to pay a bill here as well. I'll pay it on Sunday, so I don't have to worry about it on Monday. Yeah, so it can be anytime from the 1st to the 5th, depending on when the funding hits, because of all of the end of the month stuff, like whenever they get their paperwork in and all of that kind of stuff. Like, it's so weird, y'all. And so he might get paid then, and he might get paid. I mean, it's just so strange. I don't even understand it myself, to be honest. I think it's really weird and annoying, because you never really know when you're going to get paid. You just know it's in that stretch of time, so you don't really know. But it is pay week, so I know that at least. And we are having another weekend with Jaren. So I am going to put our weekend on here, because we will have him for another weekend. And perhaps the one after this too, I'm not really sure. Okay, so yeah, I have that. And then I need to plan budget. And so we need to do that. I don't know if this is going to be Joshua's off day or not. Because he won't get his traditional off day on Wednesday. So he might get that one. So I need to figure that out. And then I need to meal plan on this day. Very important. If you didn't know, this is my budget planner, so everything that I need to do to stay on budget, that's what I need to do. So I need to get my bill receipts so that I can start keeping track of them in my little planner. You guys, my kids are so loud. They're so loud. Sorry if they're bothering you, but this is my life. I don't even really notice it until I think about you guys. Okay. So that's what I need to do. I need to write down the bills that we have. I'm trying to think of what they are. Let's see. I think it's the car payment and the phone bill and the power bill. And I think the internet as well. I could be completely wrong about the internet bill. But I think those are the ones for this paycheck. And I think that's going to be it, you guys. I didn't even talk so much about my dad. There's so much to tell about him. He still goes to college right now. He's working on his doctorate and his second master's. He has more than one degree. He can speak Greek. He studies Greek for you know, his profession purposes, just for biblical reasons. He's just amazing. How can you even say enough about him? I don't even know. He quit college and worked as hard as he possibly could for me, and then my brother and sister, and then went back to school to achieve what he wanted to achieve, and he is doing the dang thing. He has definitely taught me that you can do whatever you set your mind to, so I am very honored to give him this layout. He'll never even know, but that's not the point. He's amazing, so I definitely want to document his birthday in my life. I told him this morning, I told him happy birthday, and I was like, I'm so glad that God gave me you as my dad. I'm so blessed for that. So this is how it turned out in my binder, and I will be putting our bills and everything and when they were paid in here and keeping track of that with this planner. So that is how I used this one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every single one of you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys. That's what I need to do. So I need to get my bill receipts so that I can start keeping track of them in my little planner. You guys, my kids are so loud. They're so loud. Sorry if they're bothering you, but this is my life. I don't even really notice it until I think about you guys. Okay. So that's what I need to do. I need to write down the bills that we have. I'm trying to think of what they are. Let's see. I think it's the car payment and the phone bill and the power bill, and I think the internet as well. I could be completely wrong about the internet bill, but I think those are the ones for this paycheck. And I think that's gonna be it, you guys. I didn't even talk so much about my dad. There's so much to tell about him. He still goes to college right now. He's working on his doctorate and his second master's. He has more than one degree. He can speak Greek. He studies Greek for you know, his profession purposes, just for biblical reasons. He's just amazing. How can you even say enough about him? I don't even know. He quit college and worked as hard as he possibly could for me, and then my brother and sister, and then went back to school to achieve what he wanted to achieve, and he is doing the dang thing. He has definitely taught me that you can do whatever you set your mind to, so I am very honored to give him this layout. He'll never even know, but that's not the point. He's amazing, so I definitely want to document his birthday in my life. I told him this morning, I told him happy birthday, and I was like, I'm so glad that God gave me you as my dad. I'm so blessed for that. So this is how it turned out in my binder, and I will be putting our bills and everything and when they were paid in here and keeping track of that with this planner. So that is how I used this one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every single one of you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.